Bone Lake centers on a couple seeking isolation at a remote lakeside retreat, hoping for rest, reconnection, and escape from the noise of everyday life. What they find instead is an unsettling environment, shaped by strange locals, unspoken history, and a growing sense that the lake itself is tied to something deeply wrong. As secrets surface, the weekend turns into a slow descent into paranoia, violence, and survival. The film's protagonists, Diego, played by Marco Pagosi, and Sage, played by Maddie Hassan, are grounded, emotionally worn, and believable. Their relationship feels lived in rather than idealized, which strengthens the tension once fear enters the picture. Instead of relying on reckless decision-making, their choices are driven by exhaustion, denial, and a desire to maintain control, making their unraveling feel tragically human. Rather than a single clear-cut villain, Bone Lake presents layered antagonism. Will is played by Alex Rowe and Sin, played by Andra Nichita. They function as direct threats, but the true antagonist is the environment itself, an oppressive mix of isolation, buried history, and predatory intent. The lake becomes a symbolic force, representing both concealment and inevitability. The plot unfolds deliberately, favoring atmosphere over constant shocks. The film gradually tightens its grip, allowing unease to build through small details, uncomfortable encounters, and subtle warnings ignored too long. When violence does erupt, it feels earned and brutal, not gratuitous. The pacing may test impatient viewers, but it rewards those who lean into its slow-burn structure. The script is restrained and confident, trusting implication over exposition. It leaves gaps for the audience to fill, which enhances the dread. While some ambiguity may frustrate viewers seeking clear answers, the script's refusal to over-explain works in service of its themes, especially the idea that some places are dangerous precisely because their past is obscured. Conversations often feel slightly off, reinforcing discomfort without drawing attention to themselves. The script uses silence effectively, allowing pauses and unfinished thoughts to speak louder than words. When dialogue does become confrontational, it cuts sharply. The performances are grounded and convincing, particularly from the lead actors, who sell both emotional intimacy and growing terror. Their fear feels internal before it becomes external. Supporting performances add to the film's unease, especially those that balance friendliness with something quietly menacing. Bone Lake leans heavily into psychological and environmental horror. Rather than constant jump scares, it relies on dread, implication, and sudden, shocking violence. The horror comes from the sense of being watched, trapped, and slowly stripped of agency. The film understands that fear is most effective when it creeps in rather than announces itself. The cinematography is one of the film's strongest elements. Natural landscapes are shot beautifully but ominously, turning open space into something claustrophobic. Muted colors, lingering wide shots, and deliberate framing emphasize isolation and vulnerability. The lake itself is filmed as both serene and threatening, reinforcing its symbolic role in the story. So, what's our final verdict? Bone Lake is a tense, atmospheric horror film that prioritizes mood, character, and psychological unease over spectacle. It won't be for everyone, but viewers who appreciate slow-burn horror and environmental dread will find it haunting and memorable. It's a film that lingers, asking you to sit with discomfort rather than escape it. If you enjoyed this review, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth horror and thriller reviews.